maybe I'll give you a background of how the flow of funds from the moment now a budget speech is read to maybe now the actual utilization of those funds.
Makes sense.
We start now with the budget being read, and the budget is actually read as we are closing the financial year. So the budget that we're actually starting with, and the reason we have a finance bill, I eavesdropped on some conversations that the finance bill is about to be passed. By 30th of this month, we will have a finance act, which will now speak into the revenue collection for the 2024-2025 financial year. Once a budget is read, there's an appropriation act that is actually passed by the members of parliament. So technically, the flow of funds, the budget will say, we have allocated this money to these programs, this money to these programs, but we have specific government agencies and departments that are responsible for now utilizing this money as per the allocation. And what happens is that an appropriation act is passed in parliament, and that appropriation act is more so like every department or every specific expenditure has a voting number. So members of parliament will actually sit there for a while and vote on specific expenditures that the government intends to expense. Once the appropriation act is passed, now the various departments and that have been allocated this money have to go through the control of budget. There's an office of the control of budget that now determines disbursement of these funds to the specific agencies. And after that, we have the office of the Auditor General following up and checking the financial statements of these specific agencies to see if this money has been utilized properly. My problem is number one, there's a disconnect between now the specific line items at the agency level and the treasury level. Technically, you cannot see how this money, including themselves, and I have had the benefit of doing a specific report, and what I saw is that there's actually a disconnect in the utilization of funds. So what happens?
There's no oversight or checks.
We have like the office of the Auditor General auditing the specific government agencies and parastatals and all government agencies. However, when the budget is being passed, these budgets come from the departments. Now, the departments house agencies. Let me give you an example. We have the Ministry of Forestry, right? Let's say Forestry and Environment. But under it, we have agencies like KWS. And KWS have specific expenditure. Now, in addition to that, they collect some specific money. Zinaitangwa appropriations in aid. Ukingia park.
Like entrance fees.
There's entrance fees and whatnot. When you go to immigration to make an application for a passport, there's money you pay. True. And this money, immigration is under the Ministry of Interior. You see? So like, and when the president came in office, aliset office yake. What means is that is the first executive order, president, once he comes into power, is to set up an office. And when you set up your office, you set how the government will be run. And how you do it is you set ministries, and under every ministry, there's a state department, and every state department has specific agencies. Now, this is the problem. At the agency level, they prepare financial statements, which are more so like overall. Like they're more so like a summary of the financial statements, which they take to the state departments, and voting is done at the state department level. So the National Treasury has oversight at the state department, but they don't have oversight at the agency level. So what happens? Because at the agency level, we expect the Office of the Auditor General to actually keenly look at. So at the end of the day, the flow of funds itself, you cannot like really tell the specific line items that specific expenditure was used at. So unapata even now assuming
is it just an efficient way to be corrupt?
I think this is a discussion that is actually going on at various now even in Parliament, and the idea is to have from now my proposal. What I would actually think is we need to have a public maybe a public portal where we can actually see financial statements of every agency utilization of each of these funds, because assuming you give money towards there's something that you just read, alcohol and whatnot, but assuming all this money ilitumiwa kwa travel ya wakubwa, assuming this money did not actually go to actually curbing alcohol. It went to conferences, hotels, nini. And now the amount of money that was actually went to actually doing the actual work was way less. So you'll find the government needs more money to cater for the expenditure, but we do not optimize the actual expenditure.
As it is.
Because if we want to maybe influence a specific social problem that we have in the society, assuming we want to let me give let me just use the example of alcohol. When you're dealing with now alcohol abuse and whatnot, we need programs. We need programs to be funded that actually go into the mental health, your youth and whatnot. But now, assuming this money was allocated towards this, but 90% of that money went to holding meetings and conferences in Mombasa discussing, and then 10% only goes to actually
the
doing that.
actualization.
So that's what I'm speaking about now, the optimization
Makes
of funds.
sense.
Yeah. No, and at the end, do we only get to see how much money has been spent after auditing?
Yeah, the Office of the Auditor General does that, and actually, if you go
Once a year?
to the website, it does that. They are a little bit behind in their reports, because you find like right now the reports are 2022-2023 and Aziko online 2024 Aziko. However, at the same time, they don't give an overview of the specific expenditure. So there's still like a lot of there's actually a serious gap in the expenditure.
So they'll write like admin costs, 1 million.
Admin costs, alcohol, sijui nini, this amount, but you don't get the actual proper breakdown. The line items now. You see, there are line items and then sub-line items. So the line items of the expenditure, you don't get to see them.
Okay.
Over 26. This is the
This is the Brunch Club.
Over 26. Welcome back to
The mics are closed.